I know everybody a go lie. I know everybody a go lie. Success don't come overnight. No matter no a substance over hype. Do it for the love, we not do it for the life.
What's good? Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. Keeping It Real is your go-to show for Love Live TV. Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. I'm live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Keeping It Real is your go-to show for personal and professional development, diving deep into fitness, public speaking, networking, and sometimes real estate. I appreciate you joining me tonight, whether live or on the replay. And if you are watching live, say hello. This is a live show. Let's get some engagement going. Let's connect. This isn't just a show. It's the start of a growing community. Together, we can build a space where like-minded individuals can connect, learn, and grow personally and professionally. What's next in your personal or professional journey? Comment below and let's kick this off together. Hello, I'm Jason Harris, and I'm unofficially the fittest commercial real estate professional south of Boston, but maybe not this far south. Also known as Coach FitPro J, your diet-free fat loss specialist. I'm the coach who talks the talk and walks the walk. I've been there, done that, and now I empower real estate professionals and entrepreneurs to take control of their nutrition and fitness without feeling overwhelmed by keeping it simple, keeping it moving, and keeping it real. Welcome to the weekly live broadcast, Keeping It Real. All right. So today we're starting with the core four of networking segment. After that, From Stagefright to Spotlight, the public speaking segment of the show, and then we'll get into fitness success, the 4 pillars of achievement. And then we'll finish up with the Real Estate Roundup segment. Let's get started. All right, the core 4 of networking. Networking is an essential skill in both business and personal development. In the core 4 of networking segment, I break down the key practices for building strong, lasting relationships. Do you know about the core 4 of networking? Have you ever heard of them? Can you tell me what they are? They're right there on the screen. If not, then here's a short clip that'll get you up to speed on what the core 4 of networking are. What's up? I'm here with Al to give you guys another networking tip. We've given you 3 so far, and today we're going to give you a 4th. But before we do, let's recap. What's the first thing they got to do, Al?
Show up.
You got to be present and accounted for. What's the second thing?
Be yourself.
You be you, your authentic self, because nobody likes fake people. Not a good look. What's number 3?
Pay attention.
You got to do some active listening. You got to know what's going on. You don't want to stare into somebody's eyes and nod your head thinking about what you got to say next. Pay attention. And now that the recap's done, I think the 4th one's the most important. What do you think, Al?
Oh yeah, there's no point in doing all 3 if you don't do the 4th.
That's right. So why is the 4th so important now?
Because the fortune's in the FU.
What do you mean?
Fortune's in the follow-up.
Ah, that's right. Follow up. Don't have a conversation with somebody, take their business card, and then do nothing. Follow up. Speaking of following up, if you guys would like to hear more networking tips from Al and myself, comment more or yes, please underneath this video. And Al, what are we going to do after they make that comment?
Follow up.
Haha, that's right. See you guys later. I'll be breaking down the core 4 1 week at a time. Week 1 is all about show up, why simply being present can open doors to success. Week 2 is about be yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. Week 3, all about paying attention, the importance of active listening and being fully engaged with others. And then week 4, follow up, how to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting. What's the most significant networking hurdle you've faced? And how'd you tackle it? Or are you still working on it? Please share your biggest networking challenges and how you've addressed them in the comments below, even if you're watching the replay. In addition to exploring the core 4 of networking, This segment will also showcase local members of the networking organizations I'm affiliated with, as well as other businesses and professionals in my network. I'll also provide insights on local networking events that I attend. This Monday is week 3, and today we're going to talk about dialing in one of the most overlooked superpowers of networking, paying attention. This might sound simple, but in a world full of distractions, it's what separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. If you want to stand out in a room full of business cards and elevator pitches, stop trying to be interesting and start being interested. Active listening isn't just polite, it's profitable. When you genuinely pay attention, people feel it. They lean in. And remember, they remember you. And that's where trust begins. Here's your action step. Next time you're at a networking event, put your phone away. Literally, keep it in your pocket on silent. Instead, look in eye contact, lock in eye contact, and listen to understand, not just to respond. And as a bonus move, after the conversation, jot down one personal or professional detail you learned about the person. Use it in your follow-up, but that's next week. Use it in your follow-up to show that you were paying attention, that you were truly present. Now I want to hear from you. What's one thing someone said at a networking event that made you instantly remember them? Just one thing. Drop it in the comments. I want to know. Even if this is the replay. It would be nice if you're watching live and you do too, though. I'm just saying. That's it for today's Core 4 Spotlight. Pay attention. Remember, networking isn't about collecting contacts. It's about creating real connections. When you show up and truly listen, you move from just being seen to being remembered. Next Monday's week 4, so the topic will be follow up. How to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting. Until then, show up, be yourself, pay attention, and most of all, follow up. If you got a story to share and you want to be a guest on the show, reach out. I'd love to have you on. Seriously, let's do this. And if you catch me at a networking event, don't hesitate to pull me aside and let's make some on-camera magic happen. Moving on. Next up is the public speaking segment of the show, From Stagefright to Spotlight. This is our comprehensive public speaking segment designed to help you master this crucial skill, whether you're speaking to a large audience or just in front of a small group. This segment of the show will give you the tools that you need to shed the stage fright and step confidently into the spotlight. This segment of the show will also have guest appearances from some of my fellow Toastmasters. And if you don't know what Toastmasters is, I'll explain it to you now. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. I belong to the Spirited Speakers Club out of Middleborough, Massachusetts. We currently meet virtually on the 2nd and the 4th Wednesdays of every month. Stay tuned because at the end of this segment, I'll show you how you can visit my next virtual Toastmaster meeting. On today's From Stagefright to Spotlight segment, I wanted to talk about two things. I want to mention two things to you. Number one, fun fact. Did you know that the brain thinks public speaking equals life-threatening danger? Your brain literally thinks public speaking is a survival threat. Why? Because when you step up to speak, whether it's at a networking event, on a stage, or even a client meeting, your brain lights up the same region that would activate if a bear walked into the room, the amygdala, your fear and fight or flight center. For entrepreneurs and real estate professionals, this matters. You're not just selling a service or a property. You're often selling yourself, your story, your credibility, your energy. So when that moment hits, when all eyes are on you, Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your brain whispers, run, run. But here's the power move, though. That response isn't weakness, it's fuel. Your adrenaline spike is your body's way of gearing up to perform. Pro athletes call this the zone. Speakers who know how to harness that surge instead of fearing it are the ones who own the room. Pro tip: before you speak, take 2 minutes to breathe deep, stand tall, reframe your nerves as excitement. Say to yourself, this isn't fear, it's my body getting ready to deliver. Because in real estate and entrepreneurship, your ability to speak confidently under pressure can be the difference between being forgettable and being the go-to person everyone trusts. All right. The second thing I wanted to mention, number 2, my next virtual Toastmaster meeting is coming up. The next meeting will be Wednesday, May 28th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to experience a virtual meeting and see what it's all about for yourself, comment Spirited and I'll share the link with you. Don't miss out. Again, comment Spirited and I'll share the meeting link with you. When you log into the meeting, don't be scared. Feel free to sit back and observe from the sidelines. We'll make you feel welcome and participation is optional. No pressure, just relax and enjoy the experience. I hope to see you there. All right, next up is the fitness success segment. Fitness success, the 4 pillars of achievement. Each week, I alone or with a guest will break down a specific pillar to help you build a balanced, sustainable fitness routine. Week 1, pillar 1, nutrition habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Week 2 is all about pillar 2, stress management. Practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Week 3, pillar 3, physical activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. And then week 4, pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. This is the 3rd Monday of the month, so our focus will be on pillar 3, physical activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. Today, let's settle a classic gym floor debate. Cardio or weights? Cardio or weights? Which one's really the king of fat loss and toning up? Now, I know some of you are out here running marathons on treadmills, joining spin cycle cults, or thinking a pickup basketball game, all right, counts as leg day. All due respect, but today we're breaking down 3 reasons why weight training actually beats cardio when it comes to burning fat, boosting your metabolism, and sculpting a body that says, yes, I close deals and jars. Quick question before we dive in, though. If you had to pick only one for the rest of your life, cardio or weights, which team are you on? Which one do you choose? Drop it in the comments. And no, chasing clients doesn't count as cardio. So let's get into it. This recording I'm going to share with you is actually from September of 2021, but all of the info has not changed. It's all relevant. So check this out. Is your favorite form of cardio? Do you like the cardio equipment at the gym, treadmill, elliptical, bike? What do you do? Do you take group fitness classes, Zumba, kickboxing, step, anything like that? Or do you play a sport, or do you prefer outdoor activities like hiking? You know, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what your favorite form of cardio is. All right. As far as I'm concerned, I like the Free Climber by Stairmaster. Have you guys ever heard of the the Free Climber from Stairmaster? Let me pull up that piece of equipment and show you, because it's one of my favorites for many reasons. Great cardio workout. Here it is here. All right, the Free Climber. you see you basically go up and down like you're going up and down stairs over and over again. You can change how fast you go or how slow you go, that sort of thing. I love it because it's great for your glutes, your lower body, and just it really gives you a much better cardio workout, I find, than the treadmill or the bike or even the elliptical. It's one of the more difficult ones. So that's one of my favorites that I like to do, my favorite form of cardio. The other things I like to do, I do like group fitness. Don't really do it very often. Haven't really had a chance, especially with COVID and whatnot, but cardio kickboxing always kicks my butt. That's a good one. Or a step class even will kick your butt too. And then another thing I like to do, besides maybe hiking outside or just general outdoor activities, especially when the weather just changes. Nice out up here in Massachusetts now. But I like to play basketball, especially full court basketball. That really, really gives a good cardio workout, big time. But anyway, yeah, hit me up in the comments section. I want to know, what do you guys like? What's your favorite form of cardio? All right. Hit me up in the comment section on that. I'm going to get into 3 reasons why weight training is more effective than cardio for fat loss and for toning your body. All right. So before I get into that, though, many people think they should do more cardio for toning your body. And they think about weight training, they just think about building muscle or lifting weights and building muscle, and that's all that's good for. But tonight I'm going to talk to you about how that's not actually true, or it's partially true, but it's not the whole story. So again, I have 3 reasons why weight training is more important. The first reason, overall calorie burning benefits. Okay, so overall calorie burning effects. So I'll break this down for you guys. I'll keep it simple because you know how I like to keep it simple. All right. So I'm going to give you the cardio point and then the weight training point. Okay. So overall calorie burning benefits. Okay. So as far as cardio is concerned, cardio tends to burn more calories during the workout while you're doing the workout. Yeah, you burn a little bit of calories after the fact, but most of your calorie burn from cardio comes during the workout. But I would be remiss if I did not mention there are a couple of different types of cardio. So when I'm mentioning cardio burns more calories during the actual activity, during the actual, when you're on the treadmill, you're on the free climber, or when you're doing the cardio, okay? That's steady state. Say you go for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and you kind of stay at one pace and you just, do your time, so to speak, on the cardio equipment. You burn a lot more calories during it than after the fact. But when you do something called high intensity interval training type of cardio, that's when you're doing very high bouts of very intense cardiovascular exercise, and then you slow down and you kind of recoup your breath and get your heart rate back down. Then you bring it way back up again and way back down. Typically people do this in bouts, 5 to 6 bouts. So to give an example of steady state versus high intensity interval training for cardio, steady state, you're on a treadmill, you're just walking, whether that's flat or uphill, whatever the case may be. And you do that for a duration, 30, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever that may be. And that's it. Okay. You burn a lot of calories while you're doing it, just a little bit after the fact. High intensity interval training type of cardio, a little bit different. So same piece of equipment, treadmill. Instead of walking, you are sprinting. So you do bouts of sprints. So maybe you warm up for 3 to 5 minutes at that steady state pace, just a regular normal pace. And then you bring intensity way, way up by kicking the speed up and sprint for, say, 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And then you bring, after that 30 to 60 seconds bout of sprint, you bring the speed back down to like a nice walk where you can bring your heart rate down for about, say, like 2 minutes or so, and then bring it back up again. Okay, for another 30 to 60 seconds and back down and up. And again, you do that about 5 or 6 bouts. That's high intensity interval training cardio, different than steady state. So to recap, went a little bit off subject here. So overall calorie burning benefits of cardio. Cardio burns more calories while you're doing it, especially the steady state. High intensity interval training, however, you end up burning more calories after the fact. So you have a residual calorie burn. So that brings me to weight training and overall calorie burning benefits. Weight training burns more calories after the workout than actually during the workout, depending on what type of weight training you do. Because you can do high intensity interval training with weights too, and have that same high intensity interval training effect as the cardio type. It's the same thing. But typically a traditional weight training workout, you don't burn as many calories while you're doing it. Okay, you're not really out of breath, again, depending on what you're doing. But the calorie burn after the weight training workout is significantly more than a steady state type of cardio. All right. High intensity interval training cardio is very close to weight training as far as after workout calorie burn. So that is the deal with that. Overall calorie burning benefits of weight training are way more than just doing cardio. All right, so that's reason number one why weight training is more effective at fat loss, because in order to lose fat, you have to burn as many calories as possible, right? Well, weight training burns more calories than cardio does in the long run. So that's reason number one. And before I get into reason number two, I want to go over to these comments, see what we got here. All right, so I did ask the question, what's your favorite form of cardio? And this one here, we have, okay, I do kickboxing, hip hop step, combat fitness, fit class. Wow, oh my, that's great cardio right there. Excellent cardio. All right, let me go ahead and get back to where we were here. We are talking, and if you did just join us, I'm going through the 3 reasons why weight training is more effective than cardio for fat loss and for toning your body. All right. And we're on reason number 2. All right. Reason number 2, long-term metabolic increases. All right. And again, I'm going to talk about weight training and I'm going to talk about cardio as far as these reasons. So long-term metabolic increases. All right. So as far as weight training is concerned, weight training increases your resting metabolic rate. Your resting metabolic rate, all that is how many calories do you burn when you're not doing anything, when you're at rest, when you're sitting down like I am, when you're even laying down sleeping, when you're not doing activity, your resting metabolic rate. Weight training increases that, okay? It doesn't, we already know it increases it because reason number 1 that we just went over, the calorie burning effects of weight training, you actually burn a ton more calories after your weight training workout. So after your weight training workout, you're burning calories because of it, even when you're sitting down doing nothing and when you're resting. And that is because of the recovery that happens. When you do weight training, you're breaking your muscles down, they're getting fatigued, and you're doing little micro tears and little positive damage to your muscles. And then after the weight training workout, about 24 to 48, usually about 38 is the sweet spot. About 38 hours after the fact, you continue to burn calories because of that damage you've done to that positive damage you've done to your muscle. All right. So you're burning calories because of the repair process that needs to happen. Your body uses calories to repair that damage while you're sitting there resting, okay, and even sleeping. So weight training increases your metabolic rate by doing weight training by itself by default. After the fact, you burn calories because of recovery. And then it also increases your lean mass or your muscle. Of course, you weight train, you gain a bit of muscle. As long as you eat enough, anyway, you eat right. But you'll definitely maintain it. But by increasing your lean muscle mass or lean mass, your muscle on your body, you're going to automatically increase your resting metabolic rate because muscle is an extremely active tissue on your body. It takes a lot of calories to have muscle on you. So any little bit of muscle you can put on you, you're going to raise your metabolic rate at rest. Okay. Day after day, week after week, month after month, that stuff adds up and you just shrink. The fat it comes off. All right. Have you guys ever heard that, oh, guys lose body fat a lot quicker than females? You know, a lot of females are, they don't have as much muscle as guys. Guys have more muscle mass on them, so they have an easier time typically losing body fat. That's the main reason why, guys. That's the main reason why males tend to lose body fat quicker than females, because of the muscle mass they have on them, because their metabolic resting rate is a lot higher because they have more muscle mass on them. So long-term metabolic increases with weight training. As far as cardio is concerned, okay, cardio can actually decrease your resting metabolic rate. It does the opposite. It eats away at your lean muscle, or at your lean mass, at your muscle. And of course, I'm speaking about doing cardio only, just doing a bunch of cardio, or putting most of your eggs in the cardio basket when you're trying to do fat loss. What's going to happen is your muscle mass is going to go away a little bit because you're not supporting it with weight training. You need to stimulate the muscle to keep it. If you're not stimulating that muscle and you're expending all these calories doing cardio, eventually you're going to end up losing a little bit of muscle. You will lose some fat too. We'll talk about that in a second, but you are going to lose quite a bit of muscle by just doing mostly cardio. And that's going to lower your metabolic rate, because remember, the more muscle you have on you, the higher your metabolism at rest. So if you're chipping away at that, you're chipping away at your metabolism. So when you do mostly cardio for fat loss, what's happening is you're working against yourself. It's very frustrating. So long-term metabolic increases, weight training actually increases your metabolism, and putting most of your eggs in the cardio basket is going to decrease your muscle mass, which will in turn decrease your resting metabolic rate. Okay. And now, before I get into number 3, I want to look at these comments. All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Great content. And again, I want to know what everybody does for cardio. What's your favorite form of cardio? Let me hear it. Put in the comment section. What's your favorite form of cardio? All right. I'm going to get back to, if you just joined us, 3 reasons why weight training is more effective at losing body fat and toning up your body. All right. And what I'm doing is I'm on the 3rd reason, and I'm breaking it down, the cardio portion of it and the weight training portion of it. We're on reason 3, total body reshaping. Okay. Total body reshaping, body composition change, toning. Basically, you're losing body fat, but you're keeping the muscle, which is going to give you nice shape. All right. So as far as cardio is concerned, you lose weight, or cardio weight loss is mostly from both muscle and fat. So you're losing muscle, which is part of your resting metabolic rate. We don't want to lose that. We want to maintain that. And then also fat. So what ends up happening is when you do most of your weight loss, okay, from cardio, you're losing both. So if you're not tight and toned now, you're not going to be tight and toned then either after you lose that weight, because you're losing muscle and fat. You're going to just be a smaller version of yourself. You will be smaller and you shrink a bit, but you're not going to really have that shape. You're still going to be a bit loose, and you're just get a smaller version of yourself. If you're loose now, you're going to be loose then. Okay. Less fat and less muscle, but still loose, not tight and toned. Okay. So losing most of your weight through cardiovascular activity is going to make you it can make you skinny fat too, if you ever heard that term. All right. As far as weight training is concerned, for total body reshaping, that's where it's at, because weight training maintains your muscle, your lean mass, while decreasing your fat at the same time. I mean, that's what we want. And that's the definition of toning, because when you lose weight from fat, but you keep muscle on, or even build a little bit, you're going to become not a smaller version of yourself. You will a little bit, but you'll be a tighter toner version of yourself. So you're melting the fat off and the muscle staying there to be revealed. That's the definition of toning. If you don't have muscle to begin with, all right, there's nothing to tone. But if you have muscle to begin with and some fat on it, and then you go do mostly cardio, you lose muscle and the fat, you don't get that tone. The shape isn't there. You just become a smaller version of yourself and still lose. Weight training maintains that muscle that you have on you, helps you melt the fat off, and then you get that tone look and that nice shape. All right, so that's huge right there. That's the way that works. And then I have a bonus point for you guys. I'm not hating on cardio, because you don't want to hate on cardio. Cardio is excellent. Cardio is like the cherry on top. Okay. When you you got to have a good balance, and a good balance is, mostly weight training. For most people, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, typically 3 to 4 times a week, someone doing some sort of weight training workout. And then for cardio purposes, maybe a couple times a week. And remember, you get more calorie burn from high intensity interval training. That's that whole sprinting on the treadmill for about 30 to 60 seconds and slowing your heart rate down by walking for about 2 minutes, then bringing it back up doing those bouts. That's a better form of cardio to lose body fat. So if it was me, I would do the 3 to 4, days a week of weight training to maintain, even build a little bit of muscle. Okay. It's going to raise your resting metabolic rate, because when you do those 3 to 4 weight training sessions a week, after the weight training is where the real calorie burn happens. Okay. And then you are left with the muscle on you, or a little bit more, and the fat goes away, you get nice and toned. But again, I am not hating on cardio. Cardio has its benefits. All right. If it was me, I would do 3 to 4 times of weight training a week, and then I would go ahead and do maybe 2 or so cardio and switch it up. Maybe do high intensity one day of the week, one of the 2 days, and then another day you do some steady state. Maybe you do some interval training on a bicycle, where you do bike sprints, and then you do the next time you take a class the next time, like a step or Zumba or something like that. Switch it up. 2 days of cardio, 3 to 4 days of weight training is a better prescription for fat loss and toning, is my point. But again, I'm not hating on cardio. There's health benefits to both cardio and to weight training. Cardio benefits, cardio is better for your heart and lungs than weight training is. All right. The cardio, your heart and your lungs obviously work a lot more in a cardiovascular type of workout. All right. So that is going to up your health as far as your heart and your lungs. And that's very important. All right. Very important for you. You should strive for whole fitness. Okay. And that's part of it. So cardio is way better for your heart and lungs. All right. That's a huge benefit for cardio. Benefit of weight training, or some benefits of weight training. All right. They're better for bone density. That's why you see a lot of older individuals, even seniors, doing weight training for a while now, because it's been known that, it is known that bones actually flex. Okay, bones flex. And when you do resistance or weight training, you're putting pressure on those bones, and they flex. And when they flex, they adapt by becoming more dense. Just like when you lift weights, your muscles adapt by becoming stronger and a little bit bigger. All right. Well, when you do weight training, your bones flex and they become more dense. So it's an excellent resource, or it's an excellent activity for older people and seniors to do for preventative maintenance for osteoporosis. Okay, get those bones flexing, safely though, but get those bones flexing, so to speak, to build up that bone density. So that's one major health benefit of weight training. Another benefit or health benefit of weight training is overall functioning in everyday life. You want to stay strong. You want to be able to do things like when I'm 44, when I get into my 50s, 60s, and even 70s, I want to maintain some sort of strength, some level of baseline of strength going into those years, because it will help you function better. Your mobility, your flexibility, all of those things. When you weight train, you work on all those things. So if you consistently weight train, 3-4 times a week or whatever, all the way into those later years, you're going to function better. You'll be able to run around with the young kids, or you're not going to be dependent on other people. You'll still be independent as opposed to dependent. That's one of the major things. So weight training and cardio both have major benefits. All right. So don't hate on cardio. It's just, put most of your eggs in the weight training basket if you're trying to lose body fat and tone. That's the point. Wow. That was from 2021. That was about 4 years ago. Do I look any older? I can't tell. Anyway, so what's your favorite form of cardio? Free climbing like a ninja, kickboxing your stress away, or pretending you're still 22 on the basketball court like me. No. Look, cardio has its place. But if you're trying to torch fat, tone up, and still have needs that work when you're showing 3 properties in a day, weight training is your best friend. Remember, cardio might help you lose weight, but weight training helps you look like you did it on purpose. And let's be real, as entrepreneurs and real estate pros, we don't just need energy. We need boss level stamina, mental, physical, and sometimes emotional, especially when deals go sideways, right? So lift heavy, close deals, and stay strong enough to carry that commission check. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it moving, and above all else, keep it real, especially when it comes to your fitness. That wraps up today's fitness success segment. Next Monday is week 4, so we'll be discussing pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. Want to join the conversation as a guest or have your questions featured on the next episode? Just drop a comment below. Yes, even if you're watching the replay. Let us know and we will make it happen. And before I move on to the next segment, we do have a comment. Let's see. Oh, it's me highlighting the show, which reminds me, please, in your network, share this show. Let people know about it. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. All right, that's enough of that plug. Moving on. Let's move on to the final segment for today, the Real Estate Roundup segment. The Real Estate Roundup segment helps you stay updated on the latest in the real estate world. Whether you're interested in residential or commercial, this segment's got you covered. I'll invite guest experts on to share insights and discuss the subjects that you would like to hear about. If you didn't already know, I'm with Jay Nuss Realty Group. There we are. Let me make this bigger here. All right, here we are. Jay Nuss Realty Group. We are a commercial real estate brokerage and consulting firm out of Braintree, Massachusetts, servicing all of Eastern Massachusetts. We specialize in commercial real estate transactions, including sales and leases. And we also consult on a variety of commercial real estate related matters, including, but not limited to, nonprofits, religious and otherwise, potentially environmentally compromised property, and transit-oriented development. Other services include commercial lease audits, and if you or anyone else you know owns a commercial property and wants to know its worth on the current market, we can do a commercial broker opinion of value for you. If you or someone you know is in need of a commercial real estate professional, please contact us directly or comment under this video and we'll follow up with you. Residential agents. Have you ever tried to navigate a commercial lease transaction and were confused by it or got stuck? Did I mention that we also work with residential real estate brokers? So if you're a residential agent or broker in need of commercial expertise, please don't hesitate to contact us for assistance. What real estate topics spark your curiosity the most? Residential, commercial, or something completely different? I'd really appreciate it if you shared your thoughts in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, your input is just as valuable. Your feedback will guide me in creating future content. Keeping it moving. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Every week, we'll dive into important topics that will help you grow with a mix of fun and practical advice, from nutrition habits to real estate, public speaking skills to networking strategies. This show is designed to inspire you, keep it real, and of course, keep it fun. Today, in the Core 4 of Networking segment, I shared with you how to stand out in a room full of business cards and elevator pitches. Then, in public speaking segment of the show, From Stagefright to Spotlight, I talked about how your brain thinks public speaking equals life-threatening danger. And I also shared how you can visit my next virtual Toastmaster meeting next week on the 28th. In the fitness success segment, we settled a classic gym floor debate, cardio or weights. Which one is really the king of fat loss? and toning up. Then, lastly, in the Real Estate Roundup segment, I told you about the services of my commercial real estate brokerage and consulting firm, Jay Nuss Realty Group, and how we love working with residential agents. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment about what you liked. If you didn't like something, I'd like to know that too. All feedback is welcome. If you've arrived after we started or missed any details, don't worry. You can always check out the replay. Before we end today's show, I have one last thing to share. Every show will end on a high note with a funny meme or short, hilarious video to keep you smiling. Please stand by for this week's funny moment.
To pass out. Then my head hit the wall. But I had a praying grandmother.
That's rough. Thanks for joining me today. I can't wait to see you for more Keeping It Real. Be sure to leave your comments, share your thoughts, and don't hesitate to get involved. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep it real. See you next week on Monday, May 26th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I know everybody a go like. I know everybody a go like. Success don't come overnight. You make them know a substance over hype.